Along with the Vol Network analyst, Ramon Foster, we are joined this morning by VolQuest on threes and Vol Network's Brent Hubbs. It is LaMarcus Coker days until football time in Tennessee. Good morning, Brent Hubbs. How are you?
I'm doing well, Will Bowling. Good pull with LaMarcus Coker. I was going to go Anthony Sessions Day today because I figured that was one nobody had on their radar screen. And then tomorrow, we're Heath Schuler days away from football time. So it's time to go, man.
It sure is. I love it. Real quick on LaMarcus Coker, is he one of the all-time what could have been players in Tennessee football history with how talented that guy was?
Yeah, without question. Without question. He just did not have the maturity that he needed to have off the field. Coach Fulmer and that staff gave him as many chances as the university and everybody would allow him to have. And, I mean, in a day and age where we're seeing, the smaller back be such an important part of football, you look at him and his speed and what he could do and what he could have done in space. It's really, really unfortunate because he is – injuries didn't derail him. The only thing that derailed LaMarcus Coker was LaMarcus Coker, which those are the saddest stories in the world because good guy. He could not handle. He just couldn't handle it, and it's really unfortunate.
He didn't need to come to Tennessee. He should have gone to USC, I think, like he was wanting to, I think, at the time.
Is some guys better to stay around home? Some guys better to get away, maybe?
Yeah.
One of those situations?
Yep, absolutely.
Interesting.
You got Ron Slay going this morning, though, Hubs. He said, my guy,
that?
Ant Sessions. He said, a damn D-O-G is what he said, a dog.
Ant Sessions was a late find junior college player that I was a big safety that they turned into a linebacker, and he's actually coaching football now, I think, in the state of Georgia. Nice. And a good dude, man. He was kind of one of those. Everybody went, who? And then you got him to town, and you're like, man, if he could ever completely figure it out, he could do it. He was undersized as a linebacker, but he could flat out run. And that's exactly what John Chavis was looking for back then. Ant Sessions from down in Georgia, baby.
If you get the dog tag from Ron Slay, then you are one. There is no doubt about that.
Now, here's the thing. We're not real sure why Slay tagged him a dog. Because that could mean athletic ability. That could mean something that happened on a Friday night somewhere. We're not sure exactly why Slay
all is true. Either way, it was earned.
We got to be really careful about what we're propping up and what we're celebrating, right?
That's true.
Fantastic.
You know him, Hubs.
I love it.
I know both of them.
Brent Hubbs with us. Brent, a big weekend for Tennessee football, a scrimmage coming up. How far will this go to helping Josh Heupel and the staff determine who the starting quarterback is, and how have the three in the arena, so to speak, fared so far? And Joey Aguilar, Jake Merklinger, and George McIntyre.
I think all three have done well. I mean, I think they've been solid. Nobody has run away with the job. I think George has probably tried to and is trying to put himself into the mix more than some people thought. Is he heavy enough? Is he physical and strong enough? And all those things. I mean, I think managing the game, George has done really well, and I think the other two have done well. I think Saturday or tomorrow goes a long way because now you're talking about managing the operation of a game, play clock, fast pace, the tempo, getting everybody lined up. Because remember this, I mean, and I'll give Coach Heupel credit for this because every coordinator turns it into a football game. All these coaches that are like, all right, scrimmage one. These are the parameters for the defense. These are the parameters for the offense. About 5 plays into it, that all goes out the window. Yeah. So Coach Heupel doesn't even have parameters in it. They put the ball down and they go. Now, they'll work situations, but Tim Banks can show every look he wants to play out.
I think we may have lost Brent there.
Yeah, we did.
Brent, I think we got a little bit of bad connection with you. Let's see if you got us back now?
Are you there, guys?
Oh, we got you. Yeah, we got you now.
Sorry, parking garage at the University of Tennessee for practice this morning. Let me get to this corner.
All good.
And what I was saying was Tim Banks is allowed to do whatever he wants to do. And because of that, it's a great litmus test for the quarterbacks and being able to manage the game? How do you adjust to the looks? How do you handle all the things that's going to get thrown at you that you really don't see in the structure of practice? Even though they go 11 on 11, this is different, and there's no coach back behind you to help you, and what that looks like and how those guys manage the game, I think will go a long way in creating some separation in the quarterback battle.
One thing that helps Brent Hubbs is this, having availability of weapons, man. Where are these guys at the wide receivers with injuries? And I see you brought up some of the young fellas, man, like Travis Smith and Rodarius Jackson, too. How have they fared so far, Hubbs?
Well, I think they've done well for freshmen. Remember this, I mean, the installs happen so frequently now because of what coaches can do in the summertime. I mean, those guys who enrolled in midterm got all the installs in February, got to go through the installs again in spring practice. Then they did summer installs, basically late June through July, and now they've reinstalled it in August. So you've got it 4 times, essentially, since you've been here. So nobody's head is really swimming like they're lost on what to do and what not to do and all those types of things that you would have done as a typical freshman. Because A, they're midterm enrollees, and B, how they install it here. So I think those guys have played pretty fast, Ramon.
Mm-hmm.
They've made some plays, which I think has helped them get some confidence. And the bigger thing is, because of the injuries, they're getting more snaps than they could ever imagine themselves getting. And that's given them a chance just to gain confidence and to get more comfortable with each quarterback. So they'll get a huge opportunity on Saturday. Mike Matthews will be limited. We'll see how much he does and what he does. I do not expect Staley to scrimmage. I don't expect Brazel to go. I do think there's a chance they get a couple of those guys back next week and maybe start to get in the right direction towards kickoff against Syracuse. But it'll be light at the receiver position in this scrimmage, but it's going to be a great opportunity for Dodson, for Amari Jefferson, for those guys, Travis Smith and Rodarius Jackson, a huge opportunity for those guys.
Hubbs, when you look at this scrimmage, too, you mentioned it's just an open book the way Heupel and his staff are able to do this. Well, there's competition amongst the interior offensive line specifically, man, but they got one of the biggest tests ever in having Rodney Garner on that coaching staff. How do you see this faring out, man, with how that defensive line is going to attack this group? What can be taken from this scrimmage as it pertains to those guys in competition to win that right guard, left guard, and honestly, Sam Pendleton maybe at center? How do you see this?
Well, I think it starts at center, and it starts with just, executing the offense, because the center does so much to, set the pace of the offense, set the ball, get everybody lined up. They ask the center to do a lot. Sam Pendleton is still learning how to do that. So this is a big scrimmage and a big test for him to really execute that at a high level. I do think when you start talking about who their best 5 is, Pendleton at center would make a ton of sense. But he's got to go win it. He's got to go earn it. So we'll see. What we know about Rodney Garner's group is they're going to play fast. They're going to play vertical. They're going to get downhill on you. And nobody is in bubble wrap. So anybody who's in the 12 deep of Rodney Garner's group is going to play a lot of snaps. So Bryson Easton, you don't get the day off because you're established, or Jackson Moy, you don't get the day off. I mean, James Pierce was a first-round draft, took more scrimmage snaps than anybody on defense did last year because that's the Rodney Garner way. And all those guys have got to go play, and those veteran guys will certainly be pushing and testing Sam Pendleton, David Sanders, Jesse Perry, and go from there. It feels, Ramon, like in the perfect world, if Pendleton can handle center, I think they like Pendleton at center, Jesse Perry at right guard, David Sanders at right tackle, with Wendell Moy at left guard, and then Lance Hurd at left tackle. Now, I don't know that that's where they get to week 1, but I think that's when you talk about talented, best 5, I think that's kind of the feeling some people have in the program right now.
Brent Hubbs of VolQuest's on 3, our guest. Brent, I enjoyed the story about Jesse Perry this week, and feels kind of like a throwback story, right? Of a guy that was developed from a Middle Tennessee Christian system here that ran the football as much as it did. He's learned how to pass protect. He's changed his body. I know we've spoken about him a lot with you this offseason as someone that has really raised their stock as much as anyone on this roster. But it feels to me, Brent, like he is kind of a dying breed in college athletics, right? Someone who can reinvent themselves and wait their turn and take advantage, and someone that could make this offensive line, or at least a part of this offensive line, be better than it was last year.
Yeah, I mean, long arms. He's got all the frame and all the tools that you want. It's a great camp evaluation. You look at him and you say, well, he's not polished with the kick step and all the things of pass pro because they did it some. It's not like he never threw the ball or he never worked on it in high school. But you're just evaluating him on athletic ability. And that athletic ability showed up in camp. And Tennessee jumped on that when some other schools around the SEC, weren't real interested in it and didn't know him very well. And he's put on 40 pounds since he's been here, and he's just physical. He's a man. I mean, he's just turned himself into just a really good football player, and I think he's driven to be good. I think he wants to be great. I think that he's smart and understands the offense very well, and he's a guy who, playing at Tennessee means the world to him. And in a day and age where we don't see that often, yeah, he's a bit of a throwback, but man, he's got, I tell you what, the defensive linemen, you got to talk to them. Who's good for you to go against? Who gives you a great test every snap? They'll tell you it's him. Rodney Garner praises him. The offensive line coach praises him. His offensive line teammates praise him. There's a ton of respect for him in this program for a guy who's played as little as he's played. But I have a feeling he's going to play a lot this fall for Tennessee.
Brent, it's amazing some of the things Rodney Garner is saying about Dominic Bailey, Tyree Weathersby, some of these defensive linemen. When Tennessee has been at its best, as you know, they reload, especially up front on the defensive line. How optimistic are you in that group, maybe meeting last year's level or at least getting close to it with some new faces? And how significant was some of that praise from Rodney Garner this week as he talks about some unproven but very talented young players getting opportunities this fall?
Well, I think that they have great competition at defensive end, probably better competition at end this year than they had last year. I think the question is, can they get to the quarterback off the edge with the Leo position? Joshua Joseph, Caleb Herring, and the group that Coach Chop is coaching. But, I think when you look at where they are, they're established with three guys in the defensive interior, and they feel comfortable with three or four guys at the defensive end position. And we talk about Jesse Perry being a good story and some other guys being a good story on this team. There may not be a better story on this team than Dominic Bailey. And I say that because Rodney Garner was ready to cut Dominic Bailey's freshman year. He just didn't see it. And Dominic Bailey has gone out and made himself a football player to the point Rodney Garner called him the MVP, the early camp MVP, which is a crazy statement to make. But he's a guy who has just gone to work every day. He's so self-driven. He's learned what Rodney Garner's looking for. He's tailored his game to it. He's put his body in a position to be a good player there. And then I think if he could stay healthy, Weathersby is the surprise or the unknown out of this deal that we kind of forgot about. He made a bunch of noise his first few days on campus. Then he had the hip and basically was gone for almost 2 seasons. Now he's back. I think he's performing very well in camp. There's some youth on this defensive line that's going to show up that's talented. It's going to show up in morsels and kind of build. And I think Weathersby will play week 1. I think he'll build more and more as the season goes along. I think Jordan Ross is in that category. And I'm going to tell you right now, Marion Dye is coming. That's another defensive end in that rotation that Rodney Garner's like, he can take tough coaching. He's got all the skill set of things we're looking for. He did not go through spring practice, so he's playing a little bit of catch-up just from a physical standpoint. But I think Marion Dye is another guy that's coming on pretty good.
Hubs, what needs to be the conversation coming out of this scrimmage on Saturday? Not that the quarterback's been named or one performed way above another. Like, will there be another opportunity about the quarterback competition if Joey Aguilar has a good one? Is kind of what I'm asking here.
Yeah, I don't think anybody wins it on Saturday.
Okay.
I think that's one sample size. My guys at VolQuest's make fun of me for using this phrase because it's a Josh Heupel phrase. But I think that Joey's got to continue to stack days. You want a quarterback to do it more than once. I don't think – right, how many times do you see the backup quarterback come in and he makes a play and all of a sudden everybody goes, yeah, this guy's he's a real deal. Well, let's see him do it multiple times. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what fall camp's for. They've got another big scrimmage that will happen before the first game. You've got multiple practices where you're going to do 11-on-11 work. So I think you want to see him you want to see a quarterback do it more than once. I think you want to see them do it in multiple settings, and but there could be some separation for sure at the quarterback position this week. I think the centerpiece with Sam Pendleton. I think that's what you want to hear about coming out of this scrimmage. Is where is that at? How well did he perform? And then I think you're curious to see kind of what they do. Where's Edwin Spillman? How well did he play? Where are they at? Is it Edris Farouk at safety? And then where are they at the corner? Those corners should have a good day with those young wide receivers. Now we'll see if they go out and play, even though Ricky Gibson's probably not going to scrimmage. We'll see what, Colton Hood can do. And then is it Merritt, Redmond? Who's the other corner over there? Great opportunity for them. So there's going to be more young guys in this scrimmage, Ramon, than you probably would like for scrimmage one. Yeah. But, man, it's going to be a great opportunity for some guys to assert themselves to say, hey, I can help this team this fall. I think that's what you're looking for coming out of the spring. Who's above your line and who's below your line? Some guys can put themselves above the line, I think, because of the scrimmage. Not necessarily be a starter, but I think you can come out of here and go, wow, this guy can help us. Marion Dye is a great example. You feel good about it. How does he perform? Do you come out going, yeah, okay, that's the guy that's going to be in the rotation for us. We're going to play him. Or is that a guy who's still going to be like, he's got to prove it more and more. Those are the guys who can win in this scrimmage on Saturday.
Brent, has the offseason stuff with Boo Carter kind of quieted the offensive role for him or taken that away? Is that still something you see being a possibility for him playing both sides of the ball?
I think it could be in time. I think it stunted it early on, for sure. Now maybe the injuries to the receiver accelerates it back.
Right.
But I think with Boo, the question is just how much can he handle mentally? You obviously he's got to prove himself every day to a lot of people. And part of that is just doing the simple thing, right? Be on time, do all this stuff. I mean, is he really in a position, has he proven himself that he's going to put in a bunch of extra work on the side to really work offense and learn some of that stuff? Or will it just be a very small here and there, we're going to throw you a little bubble screen and that type of thing? And that may be what it ends up being. I think right now, Boo Carter's focus has been about getting on the team, getting back on the team, and then trying to win his defensive teammates and go from there. And I think he's done everything they've asked him to do. But again, just like we talked about who can win in the scrimmage, Boo Carter being back for 3 days doesn't win everything for Boo Carter. He's got to be back and do it the right way for 14, 18, 20 days, not just for 4 days to say, hey, I'm back.
I ain't gonna lie, I had it on my bingo card saying we made it with no Boo question, but that was a good one, Will.
Sorry to break your streak.
We're always going to have a Boo question, and here's the thing. Josh Heupel's going to get Boo questions on Saturday because he's not discussed him since that first day.
Okay.
There you go. VolQuest's Brent Hubbs joins us. Of course, you will hear him on the Vol Network, on Vol Network programming as well. Heard here right here on the Zone throughout the week with our good friend Mike from Franklin. We are 22 days away, Brent Hubbs. Thank you as always. Appreciate
you. Tell Mike from Franklin the people want Vol calls back, man.
Mike from Franklin just walked across the street to football practice.
Oh, there you go.
He's got a notebook bigger than my notebook covering this football team. That's for sure.
All right, well, no calls then. I'll talk to you later, Hubbs.
Thank you, Brent.
Take care.
All right, Brent Hubbs of VolQuest with us, brought to you by Ascend Federal Credit Union, your financial partner for every stage of life. Great stuff as always.
It was, man.